I said, did you know a military-grade bomb was dropped on an African family, killing 11 people, 5 children included? A military-grade bomb. Like, the nigga, they used this shit at war, and they used it on his family. It all started with this revolutionary group called MOVE, started by John Africa. Their religion was going back to natural life, going back to their African roots. From the beginning, they would get judged because of their natural hair, their no use of technology or any electricity. They would even break the cement on their property so they could start planting life. Rizzo, the mayor at the time, was very vocal that he wanted these people dead. Shit all changed on March 28, 1975 when a noise complaint was made. Somehow things escalated and the police ended up raiding the house. After the police raided the house, a 3-week-old was found dead. And nobody was prosecuted for this. MOVE was prepared to stand their ground after this, stating they will defend themselves if they are attacked. I mean, who wouldn't when a 3-week-old was killed by the police? August 6, 1978, the cops decided to do another raid. As police surrounded their house, MOVE was on guard just as much as them. A shootout had began to start. A shootout that they claimed they don't know who started. And a cop ended up being killed in this incident. A cop was killed during the incident and they prosecuted one of the MOVE members. Officials said later on that it was physically impossible for the MOVE members to kill the cop. The MOVE members was in the basement. The angle where the cop got shot was from up above. So it was impossible. But 9 MOVE members were charged for the murder, getting 30 to 100 years of life. After this, MOVE relocated to their house on Osage. They kept on pushing the truth and demanding that their brothers and sisters get out of jail. On May 13, 1985, another raid was planned on MOVE. A raid that was planned specifically after they seen MOVE members go back into the house. They could have arrested them at any point. Hundreds of cops started surrounding the house, threw tear gas, and they started flooding the whole house. As Ramona Africa tried to exit the house, they even shot at her, making her go back into the house and then shooting 10,000 rounds at this house. Military-grade bomb was then approved to be dropped on their house. As the house started to burn, Sam Ward told fire commissioners to let the house burn. So not only burning one house, but all of these houses too. Only 2 members were barely able to escape. The rest were trapped in the house, burning to death. 6 adults and 5 children. And nobody was ever prosecuted. 100 cops against 11 Africans, 5 of them being children. After tear gassing their house, flooding their house, and shooting 10,000 rounds into their house, it still wasn't enough. They had to drop a military-grade bomb. This wasn't no military group. This was 6 African adults that stood on their 10 toes, outnumbered, outmatched, outweaponed, and they still felt threatened.
A small war underway on a street in Philadelphia tonight.
There was gunshots, thousands of rounds of bullets from the police.
Police moved in with tear gas and water cannon.
They wanted to kill our children.
I had recommended to use an explosive entry device.
The house shook. Smoke was coming in, so we knew they dropped the bomb on us.
Police allowed the blaze to burn an hour and a half before calling in firefighters.
I don't care what they said, there was no justification for what they did.
They done burn up 2 blocks. Explain that.
I never imagined that the government would drop a bomb on a row house in Philadelphia.
You have a concern that the people in that side of that house might be in physical danger or that their lives might be in danger?
Concern? We knew it. Excuse me, you had 200 boot-kicking, Gestapo-oriented cops out there that day. You had that day a police officer by the name of Mulvihill, who was in the 1978 tragedy, who was in fact one of the officers who stomped and kicked and beat and bludgeoned and shot and helmeted and kicked some more my brother, Delbert Africa.
So as I understand your testimony, you were concerned that there may be physical harm to the people inside that house. Is that correct?
Would you turn up your hearing aid, please?
I can hear you fine, Mrs. James.
Well,
My
then
question
if you can hear me fine, if you don't have a hearing aid, I suggest you get one.
Well, because...
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
Just ask me, and what we concerned is complete insanity.
the MOVE organization.
Yeah.
Tell the people, what is the MOVE organization?
The MOVE organization was founded by John Africa in 1972. The organization's mission is real simple: protect life.
Mm-hmm.
And when you got a mission like that, you kind of ruffle some feathers.
And it was the self-sufficiency of the organization that I was really intrigued by.
Yeah, I mean, self-sufficiency for black people in this country is dangerous. You know, we saw what happened in Tulsa. That was all because of self-sufficiency. Rosewood, you know what I mean? Philly, exactly. So exactly. They're dropping bombs on people just because you're self-sufficient and breaking away from their system. In 72 by John Africa, my great uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And the mission's simple: protect life. You know, and if you see animals that need help, protect them. If you see people that need help them. You know, and when you're talking about like protecting people from like police and judges and politicians that were crooked and dirty and not really doing their job, you know, they push back. And they did. And so, you know, John Africa's a Korean War veteran, and he saw the destruction of life, and he you know, got involved in protecting the environment. And you know, that really, look at like what's happening in the Keystone Pipeline. People
Mm-hmm.
talking about protecting the environment. You know what I mean? And so the system, they pushed back. They came and they said, you got to stop this. You know, move people at the protest against the zoo or the circus, and said animals they're not supposed to be in these cages. You don't like being in cages.
Change your clothes. We're going to protect your belongings. You'll be back in 24 hours. If you don't leave, you're going to be arrested. I mean, we had a community of all kinds of people that we all supported each other. We all intermingled. We shared our thoughts, our concerns, and we just had a good time with each other because each one of us was trying to have something. You know, when I say have something, I mean, you know, we wanted to raise our standard of living. In 1978, there was a confrontation between the MOVE organization and the city of Philadelphia. Some of the MOVE people were arrested and sent to jail. Their children had nowhere to go. Miss Louise James, whose brother founded MOVE, allowed those children to come and live in her home so that they could be cared for. We respected that about Miss James.
The kids were
former MOVE house. It was May 13th, 1985, after a day-long standoff outside a home occupied by members of a radical back-to-nature group known as MOVE, where police, as you saw, dropped an explosive device from a chopper onto that row home.
Why you gotta hurt them? There's kids in there. You tell my children in there all day, all night. Why you gotta hurt the kids? Think about the children. Think about the children.
Industry is this your home, a blazing smokestack belching up your prized possessions, neighborhood or free fire zone?